MrJwreviews asks, what's your favorite RPG video game of the last decade? I would just say Knights of the Old Republic, but we've talked about that so much, I feel obligated to talk about something different. I really like Dragon Age Origins. I really like the two Elder Scrolls games before Skyrim, Morrowind and Oblivion. Those are.
You didn't like Skyrim?
I like Skyrim, but I didn't like it as much as those two.
Oh, I heard that Skyrim is like the end-all, be-all video game ever made.
Well.
Makes me mad because I believe Zelda Skyward Sword should have won majority of Game of the Years. For one reason. Tell me if you think this is a legit reason. On PS3, you cannot beat Skyrim.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like it has like on everything but PC, it has very large issues.
Mm-hmm.
It had textural issues for the longest time on the 360. If your game is that broken, you shouldn't get Game of the Year. I'm sorry. Those are big technical issues. Now, I'll say it. Zelda had a game-breaking glitch, but it was so specific, and you had to do it in such a way that I don't think that counts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, it was so rare, it took 3 weeks for people to announce that it existed.
Yeah, I was hearing about Skyrim problems like a couple days after the release.
Yeah, I mean, like it's at the very end, and if you do and you have to do something very precise. So yeah, you might, but if you copy your data, you're fine. Just learn how to do it, not do it. And because of how it is, if you go in the first if you go to the dungeons or if you go to the lands the same way you did the first time around. It will never happen. It can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That will lock out the glitch. So it's even if you're rational and you go how somebody if you do it that way, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would do it that way. It sounds logical to me. So yeah, that's why I said that. Sorry, I got into a tangent.
No, that was fair.
Yes. So John.
Like, I don't know really what's considered an RPG game, like, exactly.
Grand Theft Auto.
Then yeah, Grand Theft Auto is my favorite out of all of them, I guess.
Because out of all the games you've mentioned, that's the only one that you can even kind of count as an RPG.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'd say Grand Theft Auto.
I think Dan would agree that it is, in a very minor term, considered an RPG.
Yeah, it's arguable, but I can see where people would say that it is.
Yeah, like the point is that he doesn't play a lot of games like that, so that's the closest one I could come up with.
Right, yeah, that's fair.
Yet again, the best answer Dan could come up with was a BioWare game. No, I'm joking. BioWare is that damn good.
That they are.
What?
That they are.
They do no wrong in the gaming industry. Except for Dragon Age 2. I'm gonna say Mass Effect just because nobody's mentioned that one yet.
Yeah, Mass Effect's really good.
And it is an RPG.
It is.
Yet again, yes, the best answer I can come up with is a BioWare game. I'm sorry. When a company starts getting up there, when Square Enix starts learning that they had, or I'll say Final Fantasy 12.
Mm-hmm.
I take it you've not played the Final Fantasy games.
I have never played a Final Fantasy game, no.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to get started, they're not interlinked. Unless you get one that says, like, 13-2. Avoid 13-2. Anything that has a 2 after the Roman numerals is a sequel.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are all standalone games. They have nothing in common.
Oh, I see. So it's like kind of like an anthology series of games?
Yeah, it's like they're not interconnected in any way, any shape, any form. They're not in the same world, the same universe, the same... There's nothing. There are no little threads connecting them in any way other than a name. And you can get the same summons and various things like that, magic spells. things like that. But like the characters are all different, and the story is a self-contained story. Like it begins and ends the story in each game.
Oh, cool.
So it's very good for new players because it's built around catering towards everyone. But 12 I think is the best one they've ever made. And the problem I have with 13 is they took everything that worked on 12 and they went, oh, fans didn't like 12, so let's take everything that worked and scrap it and come up with this new formula, and then they came up with stuff that doesn't work. and I blame the fans for that.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yes, it's not a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend says if you like a straight line simulator, go play the game. You'll love it. And a game that takes 25 hours to get past the tutorial.
Oh my
god. What?
Oh my god.
And
I would kill myself.
And I'm not kidding either. It takes 25 hours before you're done with the tutorial. You're probably thinking I'm joking right now. Like, how could that be for real?
I can't even fathom, man.
Like, you're doing main storyline things, and you have massive storylines, and you're doing stuff, but, like, you can't change your party, you can't choose your grid style or anything like that. Things that are, like, things you would expect to do in the first couple hours, you can't do until 24 hours of the game. So, what would you call that other than tutorial? You're still learning things for 25 hours, how the game works.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. And they sequeled that game.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I think it sold better than 12 because it's on both the PS3 and the 360, but I know for a fact 12 sold better on the PS2 than either one of those sold on one system.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, and people want to say 12 was not successful. 12 sold 5 million copies.
Yeah, I mean, it's Final Fantasy. It's going to sell well.
Yeah.
Those always sell well.
5 million copies. By what definition is that selling bad?
Right, yeah. I understand what you mean.
Like, yeah, okay, it's not Mario Kart Wii. That sold like 17 million. Not much is. That's the third best-selling game of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, by what weird definition do you guys go by this? That's just my little mini rant. Okay.
Next question?
Yes.
Alright, number 2. Are you a wrestling fan? And if so, who is your favorite wrestler? I'm not a wrestling fan in the slightest, but Macho Man Randy Savage has a cool voice, so I like him.
Okay. John?
Well, just to name a few, I would have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He really redefined wrestling and brought it back to life. I would have to go with The Rock, even though I'm not a big fan of the person known as Dwayne Johnson. And as for current, well, also The Undertaker, he's my all-time favorite superstar of all time. But as current, I would go with Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus. So yeah, that's just to name a few.
Just for technicality's sake, the first part of the question is yes, you are a wrestling fan, right?
Yep.
Okay, just clarifying. Because technically you could know all that information and hate wrestling. Technically. Okay, no, I am not a wrestling fan, and I'll even explain why. It's too fake for me. I can't get past that. If you want to riff on me for that, I cannot get past that. It's not so fake that it's like a sport mixed with a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
People really have skill, but it's actually not like a sport. Yeah, it's like a sport and soap opera, to where people do have skill, but they're acting more than they're actually doing it. Like, there is a script, and they do have to do certain things. And if you don't think that's true, I'm sorry, it is true. But I do have favorite wrestlers, believe it or not, because I used to watch it. I was a casual fan.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Kane is my all-time favorite, and Undertaker is my second favorite. And now that I learned that they basically butchered their storyline that they were doing, or at least the storyline I liked, I don't think I'll ever get back into it. Sorry, you lost.
What do you mean they butchered it? How could they have butchered it?
Well, like, basically, they were supposed to be brothers, and, like, basically, Kane's face was supposed to be, like, completely burned from childhood because Undertaker burned it. And then when they revealed the mask, he has a unburned face in any way. And with makeup, you could have burned his face and still had it not be real.
Well, it would have been kind of hard to wrestle with prosthetics on, so they had to make him, into this psycho that never really had any burns.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm just stating why I don't like it. I might not have a good reason, but do you understand what I'm trying to get at, John?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
I liked that story. I liked that I liked that dichotomy. I liked the fact. It was interesting to me, and they got away from that. So, yeah, it might not be a good answer, but it is an answer.